Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the DFS Minute for Monday, April 13th. I'm your host, Michael Rathburn, aka Rath. You can find me on Twitter at Fantasy Rath. And with the first week of baseball is in the books, and we definitely have some takeaways that we can come, make some small conclusions about, and we can go over some of those. I want to hit what happened over the weekend, give you some industry updates and news, and then talk about a possible approach for today. And then I'm going to hit you later back today with some of those value plays. And I'm really hoping you guys are hitting these value play videos. Don't worry about if my head's taking up the screen too much. Just listen to the content, because if you're listening to the content, you're winning money. And that's the bottom line, is that these value plays, I have a system that I use. And fortunately, for the first 3 videos, the system has done very well. So I can't guarantee success every day, but over the long haul, this system should play out and hopefully be able to, make lineups profitable for you, where you can take your stud pitchers, load up at first base and third base and 1 or 2 outfield spots, and then find value at other positions that will allow you to produce positive cash flow lineups each and every day that you play. That's really the goal here. We want to give you the tools to build your own lineups, and that way there you can have the success and earn that success. I don't just want to crank out lineups and give you a spoon-fed lineup. Really what we're all about is accelerating your learning curve in DFS and giving you the keys to success. First off, I want to talk about the weekend. And for me, I'm really excited about a guy that won the Fantasy Aces baseball qualifier on Friday night. His name is Rath, because he basically cut his teeth on Daily Joust when I was there and I was helping running that site. Eric and a group of guys that were over there were awesome to deal with. The good players on Daily Joust were the best to deal with in the industry by far at the time, and I had a lot of fun doing it. And for Eric to win the way he did on the David Ortiz home run, I guess it was in the 19th or late in the game, in that 19-inning game, was just incredible. And I'm so happy for him, because Eric is pretty much like a mid-stakes grinder. He's a guy that's not a high-stakes player. He's not playing thousands of dollars of volume every night. And for him to get this ticket, it's the biggest win I'm sure that he's had. And I'm really looking forward to seeing who else can qualify in Fantasy Aces. It really brings me, the qualifier on Aces really brought me back to the way when FanDuel first started and their Friday night MLB qualifier for $10. There was so much build and electricity and buzz around it, and it wasn't littered with multiple entries that were just outrageous. Again, I want to reiterate, I'm not killing multiple entry. I understand 5, 10, 20 entries depending on the size of the field, but when you have a 300-man field and you've got this guy with 20, that guy with 20, and that guy with 20, it does kill the buzz. So the thing that was great about Aces is that it's only a 300-man field. It's a 109 entry, and the payout trail is really nice. So even if you don't get the ticket, you still have a legit chance to cash and get some money back, which is good. And also, they do run a lot of great satellites over there, which is cool. They do run like a 10-seater and a 5-seater at 22 and 11 almost every day. So you have a really good opportunity to get a ticket for less than 109 over there, and even multiples. And I think in a field of 300, you basically have a legitimate chance of earning a seat in a 250K GPP, which is a live event final, which is phenomenal in this day and age. Big news, obviously, with PGA. And the excitement that came with the Masters this weekend. There seemed to be a lot of buzz on the Masters more than ever, especially obviously in DFS with DraftKings Millionaire Maker. And it was an unbelievable sweat going down to basically, the last couple of holes. And to see Jordan Spieth, really emerge after what happened last year and capture the Masters this year. I think we saw, the dawning of a new era in PGA, which is what Jim Nantz really put over, is that, kind of maybe the torch is being passed here, maybe from a guy like Tiger over to a guy like Jordan, but there's also guys like Rory and several other golfers. But I think the future is extremely bright, and this is really appealing to the DFS industry and the community. And we got another Millionaire Maker for the U.S. Open, so we got 2 months to qualify, and there's going to be a lot of excitement, a lot of build, and I'm really excited about the buzz that's going on in PGA, because the key with PGA for me is that this is basically a year-round sport. So it's going to be able to carry a lot of things during the summer months, June, July, and August, when you only have baseball and people are prepping for NFL. There's some lull in volume in DFS. So the fact that PGA can kind of jump in there is a great thing, and I'm really hoping that we see some other sites jump into PGA as well. I think that it can only help to have more offerings out there. Talk about over the weekend, a couple just kind of learning things that I want to give you is don't blindly take the biggest favorite on the board. And that kind of happened. I had some people asking me about Kershaw on Saturday, and it was like, well, I have to take him. He's such a heavy favorite. At one point, the line was up to minus 230. And for Kershaw to be a favorite minus 230 on the road against an Arizona team it's not the same lineup as last year. You got to remember, Goldschmidt was hurt, Trumbo was hurt, and they've got some different pieces around him now, around those guys in the lineup. And I think this is a very underrated Diamondbacks lineup, and I think they're going to be able to score some runs this year. Now the rotation is scary, but they do have some guys on the way. One of the guys did start on Saturday night, and his name is Archie Bradley, and he's one of the top 15 prospects in baseball. And the Diamondbacks basically ate Trevor Cahill's contract to put Bradley in the rotation. And he went out there and he did very well. He pitched 6 innings, didn't give up any runs, kept the ball down, which is key for a young pitcher, not getting the ball up, not giving up home runs. And he does have the ability to get some swings and misses. So I really like Archie Bradley a lot. Got to be the right spot for me to take him in DFS and daily fantasy baseball, but I think that there's definitely going to be some profit potential with Bradley early on here, as his price tag is going to be pretty cheap. Point being is the reason I didn't like Kershaw on the spot, the line had moved quite a bit. It had gone all the way up from minus 230 and closed at minus 180. That's a big red flag for me. It tells me that the smart money was taking Arizona, was taking Bradley. The Diamondbacks lineup is very right-handed heavy. It was very right-handed heavy, and does have some power. And it was in Chase. It was in Arizona. So again, I just did not like the spot for Kershaw at all, and I was public about that. So I just want to give you guys aware. Do not blindly take the top favorite on the board. Bumgarner was in a similar situation where he was going against that right-handed heavy San Diego Padre lineup that is completely different this year than last year. You have to really take that into consideration. Throw all of last year's stats out the window for the San Diego Padres. They don't mean anything. It's a completely different lineup. It's almost completely, almost 1 through 8 is almost an entirely different team. So those are some things you want to, definitely keep in mind is when these lineups come out, especially if you're looking at taking a left-handed pitcher, if that team is loading up right-handed bats that do well against lefties, it's probably a good indication that you may want to look in another direction, because there's, that's where some power, a lot of right-handed guys get a lot of their power numbers from against left-handed pitching. Talking about today's slate and the way that it's constructed, we have 6-day games, we have 8 evening games. What I'm advising you to do is similar to what I said yesterday, is play early only on FanDuel and look for opportunities for overlay. And there might be some opportunities out there. Overlay means that the contest has not filled, but it's still going to run. What you're going to see in the lobby on FanDuel is that box with a little G next to it. I believe it's blue. Look for the blue G and look for contests that are at least 10, 20%, under filling, meaning it's a 1,000-seat contest and it's at 800 with 5 minutes left. Go ahead and put an entry in there. You're getting good value, and definitely try to make sure that you jump in some heads-ups and 50-50s to hedge that tournament entry if you do go over your bankroll management threshold, when it comes to picking those contests. So just be aware, don't fire into tournaments blindly. Make sure that you back those contests up with more profitable games. That way your bankroll won't go down the tubes. Not a lot on the early slate today that I'm looking at. I mean, I do like Jake DeGrom in this spot today, so I think he's going to be a guy you got to get in there. And what you can do on DraftKings is, because of late swap, you can put DeGrom in those early contests. If you have some contests that are all probably not going to be a lot out there, but if you do happen to find some that are the entire slate, throw DeGrom in there early and then look at some other guys late, maybe a McCarthy or a Paxton. Those are some guys I think present some value today because it's a low total game, and I think they can get some strikeouts on both sides. So We'll come back later on today once lineups come out for the evening games. But again, approach the day games cautiously. Make sure you get lineups. Avoid the all day slates. Go early only. Go late only. And on DraftKings, if you could take advantage of an all day slate with possible overlay, then you want to probably use DeGrom. And then fill that lineup with guys that are playing in the late games. And then after, once you get around 6 o'clock, you can just substitute those guys in and have a lineup with DeGrom, with a late guy, and then the rest of your hitters will be in the late game. That's something that you can just take advantage of. I'm not saying you got to do that every day, but I think in this spot with DeGrom being such a great value, he's a heavy favorite. He's going against Philadelphia. Good potential for strikeouts and a win. So you definitely want to take advantage, and that's how you can do it. We'll see you again back here later on today, hopefully between 6 and 6:30. It just depends on when lineups come out. I want to try to give you as many value plays as I can. I'm not going to give you a ton and then try to take credit for hitting on guys. I want to at least give you one per position, maybe 3 in the outfield, and then maybe even give you a guy who I would say this is the guy you want to pay up for today at each position, and then give you a couple of pitchers late in the day as well. But again, stay tuned for the value plays later on today. And as we always say here at Roto Curve, stay classy DFS.